And Edison, this is very simple case. I and you. What in the world? Japan, Korea, China, US.
Yes. So this is a very simple one-on-one negotiation. You're absolutely right. But how are we going to do this with multiple parties?
Yeah.
So basically, what a good negotiator will do is will try to look for common ground, look for interests, look for what we can agree on, then try to put as many things that we can agree on in the deal, so that we actually create we create an exit barrier. The exit barrier is getting bigger and bigger. The more you can agree on, the bigger the exit barrier becomes. But then the more difficult things will come, and we need to look for, okay, so what can we exchange in return for something that the other side doesn't value that much. And after that, we need to actually get as much value as possible from the table. Now, that strength to get as much value from the table also depends on your long-term strategic interests. So it depends whether you're negotiating with the US, with whom you have a big trading relation, or whether it is a small developing nation. Then based on that, you will have a different negotiation strategy, especially when it comes to taking value from the table in the later stages of negotiation. So it is, it's a very interesting field, but it's definitely, it has a very strong cultural component, which makes it also hard to do.
But this case is Kimoto said, like Japan, Korea, Taiwan, any other country, but within Japanese company, do we need kind of sort of negotiation skill?
Within?
Yeah.
I think this applies to any negotiation.
No, within Japanese company.
Within?
Within. Do we need that kind of skill?
I would say that it is very good if you are thinking, for example, if you want to propose something to a different department, then you need to think about these things. Monday I'm going to make a proposal for the CEO, but of course you need to think about what is important to them and what is important to us, and what drives them and what drives us, and what can we offer in return for what we are asking from them.
But this is not negotiation skill. This is persuasion skill.
I think, well, okay, basically I'm making assumptions about what's important to them, and I'm deciding what is important to us. And based on that, I'm going to make a proposal that is, of course, persuasive if I make the right assumptions about what's important to them.
It's kind of communication skill,
right? But from there on, they may say, okay, well, I hear what you're saying, but that budget is what you're asking for is too high, so I can only give you half of that. So say, well, with half we can do this, but that means that we cannot provide you this and this and that. Oh, but we need that. Well, with that, I need a little bit more budget. So okay, that's going to be a negotiation. I'm not sure whether the CEO will be going that far, but I hope so. So I think that basically this negotiation strategy, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure how, in detail, how a Japanese negotiation works. I know how European negotiation works, but I'm not.
This is my simple question. If we're going to discuss among global base, I agree with that kind of negotiation, varied by the country, the culture by culture. So we need to have some skill to talk about that. But currently, in the Japanese market, Japanese company people, we need to more skill for how to communicate with the people, like how to listen to the other people's opinion, and how to respond to them. So kind of tug of war.
Yes, but don't you agree that basically, for example, the process of value creation, of looking for things that are important to them and not important to you. That this kind
So
of
what I want to say, we're going to sell that kind of, just you said, value creation. This kind of product is what kind of value generate for your company or for your division. Sort of negotiation, kind of negotiation. Not like those you said. Like not kind of concession, not kind of aspiration, but we try to more persuasive them to the value that they try to.
what I expect is that in Japan, if I ask for a certain amount, 100 million, when I ask for 100 million, then basically people say yes or no. They will not say 50.
It's kind of
Or 違う. Because in Western companies, Western settings, they will give you a counter proposal. How is that in Japan? Will you get a counter proposal where they say yes or no?
For example, we're going to say, okay, this is we can make a more better productivity. We can generate 100 million values, and this is we said they can negotiate. No, this is not 100 million. No. This basically we need to persuade them. It's 100 million. 100 million productivity increase. We need to persuade them. Persuasive way we need to look for.
Right.
Instead of kind of sort of negotiation.
But okay, so if I can tell them, okay, we can increase our productivity, we can increase our output if we are going to outsource part of our production and reallocate the resources that become available through that to a different process, right? So we are currently doing this. We are using 100% of our manpower. I think if we can outsource 20% of our work, we can actually repurpose those people and work on this thing that will create a lot more value than the costs of outsourcing. So I'm asking for outsourcing 20% of our from our staff and reallocating those people on doing something else that will generate more value for the company.
This is sort of kind of persuasive technique, right? Instead of negotiation.
Yeah, but actually, what negotiation starts when people say, "Okay, I can do that, but I'm not going to give you the budget to allocate because if you can contribute more than this, I'm going to give you half. So you will need to become also more efficient. And so I will give you half of the budget, but you will need to become more efficient in order to make ends meet." So then negotiation starts.
Yeah, my point is, instead of we much more emphasizing negotiation skill for Japanese people, we much more consider for persuasive communication technique is more important for them.
It's part of it.
Partly.
It's part of it. In order to support your negotiation, you need to be persuasive. So logical. You need to show value.
For example, it's most important is, are you open-minded for your customer? This sort of thing. Are you thinking talk straight for them? Or you try to consider what their true intention is? Kind of sort of technique is more important for Japanese people to sell their product instead of negotiation.
Because the Japanese customer doesn't expect to negotiate.
Yeah, exactly. So a little bit, my feeling is in Japanese market not different. Okay, I'm going to negotiate with American people, British people. I understand, right? And beforehand, they're different by culture. We study something else.
But what am I so? In the example that I just gave, what is going to happen if I'm going to ask for 100 million, right? If I'm going to ask for 100 million, will they negotiate that amount, or will they just say
No,
no,
no.
or yes?
No negotiation. Persuasive technique.